Speaker, the ArriveCAN was supposed to cost taxpayers $80,000, but the NDP Liberal government rewarded consultants and insiders who got rich on taxpayer dollars for an app that nobody wanted. The app erroneously forced more than 10,000 people under house arrest. It didn't work, and the Auditor General said it cost at least $60 million. ArriveCAN is now under 13 federal investigations. 2 middlemen that do no IT work got rich in a corrupt system under this NDP Liberal government. Some, including the witness today, became multimillionaires. GC Strategies is a 2-person company, and they claim to find people who actually do the work by using LinkedIn. Nearly $20 million for ArriveCAN is what they were paid, and roughly $2,500 per hour. They've been paid $100 million since forming GC Strategies just after this Liberal Prime Minister was elected. This is 8 years of this Liberal Prime Minister. The Liberal government has been ordered to collect and recoup all funds paid to ArriveCAN contractors and subcontractors that did no work on the ArriveCAN app. My question, Speaker, has the government asked Mr. Firth to repay the money paid to GC Strategies on ArriveCAN?
Mr. Firth.
Mr. Speaker, no, they have not.
The honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes.
The procurement watchdog found numerous examples where GC Strategies, quote, had simply copied and pasted, end quote, information to prove the people GC Strategies found to do work on ArriveCAN actually did it. Question, has the government asked GC Strategies to repay the money paid to GC Strategies for ArriveCAN?
Mr. Firth.
Mr. Speaker, the numbers that were provided by the Ombudsman and from Public Works we found were inaccurate when we did our assessments. And secondly, we have not been asked to pay any money back.
The honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes.
For how many contracts did GC Strategies copy and paste the exact same information?
Mr. Firth.
Mr. Speaker, we've never copied and pasted to win any contract.
The honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes.
Speaker, we know from committee testimony that Mr. Firth has admitted to doing exactly that. Today, media reports that Mr. Firth's property was raided by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. What crime are they investigating?
Mr. Firth.
Mr. Speaker, that's correct. There was a search warrant, not an arrest warrant, for my property to obtain electronic goods surrounding the Butler allegations.
The honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes.
The Royal Canadian Mounted Police have also confirmed that GC Strategies and ArriveCAN are under police investigation. Has the RCMP contacted Mr. Firth about those allegations related specifically to this Prime Minister's $60 million Arrive scam?
Mr. Firth.
Mr. Speaker, the RCMP has only reached out to us regarding Butler.
The honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes.
In the search of Mr. Firth's home, did the RCMP take only electronic devices, or were there documents, cell phones, or any other information?
Mr. Firth.
Mr. Speaker, I wasn't at my premises when the search was being taken, so I cannot comment on that. I don't have that information.
The honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes.
Does Mr. Firth know if the property of his partner Darren Anthony has been searched by the RCMP?
Mr. Firth.
Mr. Speaker, as of this morning, it had not.
The honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes.
GC Strategies is 2 guys in a basement taking 30% commissions on multi-million-dollar contracts that they had no value to, but have endorsements from senior NDP Liberal government officials. On the endorsements, question, who was the Government of Canada Chief Information Officer who offered a quote?
Mr. Firth. Mr. Firth, you need time to consult with your counsel.
Yes, please.
The clock is stopped. Mr. Firth? The clock is still stopped. Could you please repeat the question, the honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Island, Rideau Lakes?
Speaker, GC Strategies is two guys in a basement taking 30% commissions on multi-million-dollar contracts that they had no value to, but have endorsements from senior NDP Liberal government officials. On
Point of order, the honourable member from New Westminster Burnaby is rising on his feet.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would appreciate the official opposition to approach this with some dignity. There is no NDP Liberal government. So I would expect that he would ask his questions in the appropriate form, please, through you, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the honourable member from New Westminster Burnaby. Indeed, that is the case. I will ask the honourable member if he could just reframe his question. It's a pertinent question as it is. The honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Island, Rideau Lakes.
This company has done no work on the multi-million-dollar contracts that they've been given by this Liberal government, supported by the NDP. On the endorsements on their website, who was the Government of Canada Chief Information Officer who provided an endorsement?
Mr. Firth.
Mr. Speaker, we gave that information over, and the name was Paul Girard.
The honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, and Rideau Lakes.
Are all of the subcontractors that GC Strategies uses Canadian companies?
Mr. Firth. Can you write it down?
Mr. Speaker, can I get clarification? Is that period or during the ArriveCAN application?
The honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, and Rideau Lakes.
Subcontractors used on Government of Canada contracts.
Mr. Firth.
Every company that we represent and we work with for government contracts have valid Canadian security clearances.
The honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, and Rideau Lakes.
Speaker, not an answer to the question that I asked. Does Mr. Firth have any knowledge or involvement in the reviews for the ArriveCAN app on either the Apple Store or the Google Play Store being artificially amplified or paid for? Any knowledge at all?
Mr. Firth.
Mr. Speaker, I know those services exist, but I have no knowledge whether or not they're executed.
The honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Island, and Rideau Lakes.
My time to the member for Carlton Trail, Eagle Creek, please.
The honourable member from Carlton Trail, Eagle Creek, has 4 minutes left.
Mr. Speaker, the Procurement Ombudsman found that 76% of resources named in bids on the ArriveCAN contracts did no work and were switched out for other companies. He termed this the bait and switch, which is often used to sub out expensive subcontractors for cheaper ones, allowing the middlemen to take home more profit. Did Mr. Firth switch out any of his proposed resources on the ArriveCAN application contracts?
Mr. Firth.
Mr. Speaker, we were part of the 24% that didn't. Every resource we proposed that were called up for task authorizations were given to the Government of Canada.
The honourable member from Carlton Trail, Eagle Creek.
Mr. Speaker, through you, has Mr. Firth ever engaged in bait and switch in any of his contracts with the Government of Canada?
Mr. Firth.
Mr. Speaker, we were asked to replace resources all the time, depending on if there's discrepancies with their experience, whether they're not working very well, or whether or not they need to move on to another project. They're contractors, so we replace resources frequently under the guidance of the client.
The honourable member from Carlton Trail, Eagle Creek. But before she continues, I would like to let you know that we've discovered a little discrepancy in the time. She'll have an additional 30 seconds. So she has 3 minutes left on the clock.
Mr. Speaker, the Auditor General found in her ArriveCAN report that Mr. Firth sat at the table with public servants to draft the requirements for a contract worth $25 million that he was later awarded, and thereby was setting the price. Through you, what are the names of those public servants?
Mr. Firth.
Again, Mr. Speaker, that name was provided in the questions, and the government official's name was Diane Daly.
The honourable member from Carlton Trail, Eagle Creek.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. That is in direct contradiction to the name that was submitted by Mr. Firth as a direct answer to this question from me at a committee last month. Why is the answer changing today?
Mr. Firth.
Mr. Speaker, the question posed to me was who did I speak with in May of 2022 prior to the contract award? And that was the procurement lady, which was the name I gave. But subsequently, there was a question by Mr. Genius that was posed very similar to the honourable members. And that was who was I engaged with at CBSA when discussing suggestions. And that was Diane Daly.
The honourable member from Carlton Trail Eagle Creek.
Mr. Speaker, the Auditor General also found that the CBSA advised KPMG, a multinational consulting firm, that they would be a subcontractor under his two-person middleman company. At committee, the Deputy Auditor General confirmed this would allow Mr. Firth and GC Strategies to take an additional 20% cut of the contract, despite not even doing the work to get them as a subcontractor. How many times have public servants provided him with subcontractors?
Mr. Firth.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. It is common for, once you have an existing contract in place, for a client to engage your services to help bring on a subject matter expert that they wouldn't otherwise have access to, or typically, because contracting takes quite a long time, to actually bring them in if it's a time-sensitive deliverable.
The honourable member from Carlton Trail Eagle Creek has 30 seconds left.
Mr. Speaker, I will take that to mean that the public servants have provided him with subcontractors many times. Thank you.
Mr. Firth.
Again, Mr. Speaker, I'm not being elusive. I do not know the answer to that question.